Oh man, it's been an interesting day in the World of Warcraft space. Weakauras is just announced they will not be releasing anything for Midnight. We're gonna go through some of the community reception and just give our thoughts and whatnot. So we have right here, Blizzard recently published the technical details of the planned API restrictions, granting us access to the alpha to test them out and elaborated on their design philosophy. This has allowed us to evaluate the impact of these changes to weak auras. The changes, unfortunately, are more extensive than expected. As it stands, we do not expect to release Weakauras version for Midnight. We will continue to support Weakauras for Classic. The restrictions are so severe that core functionality such as conditions or actions or having multiple triggers in one aura or a cloning trigger would become impossible. Producing a stripped down version of Weakauras without these features would require several months of refactoring. The result would be a barely recognizable version. Given that, we have made the difficult decision to not create a Weakauras version for Midnight. I will leave this in the description if you want to go through this. This is a very long, pretty much they do a Q&A, they explain everything, and I'm going to be honest with you. As someone who's new to the game, I was recommended Weakauras from the jump, but I kind of paid attention a little bit, and people were saying that they were not going to use add-ons, so I left it alone. As I've educated myself more on what Weakauras does, it seems Weakauras is just more than functionality trying to help you in combat, right? This is a very in-depth add-on that changes a lot of things. And the reaction, well, it's definitely split. It's definitely split. We have an example here of what the cooldown tracker is going to look like in game now on World of Warcraft. So you see, you have their essential cooldowns, utility cooldowns not displayed, and notice so they can go to their buffs, they could drag not displayed over into the track buffs, and it pops up right here, right? They're also now creating sound alerts in game as we spoke about before, but now we're seeing physically what it's doing. So you can see the type of sound. Well, type, it's just going to be sound. Available, pandemic, on cooldown, charge gained. And then you will then be able to pick a sound. So they have up to four dings and text to speech. And they're hoping that this would be able to assist with people kind of, not having the GTFO and well, having a bit more of a customizable UI, right? Adding these features into the game directly baked in, as opposed to having a million add ons, right? And so, again, I mean, this in itself doesn't necessarily look bad, but I don't think this is going to replace a lot of other things, right? But I wanted to at least just showcase what we have so far from the alpha here. And well, this is a pretty interesting comment, right? Combat add-ons being removed, sure. And again, I'm not even necessarily against those, right? I think again, there's a barrier of entry, and I'm going to make a new video on the new player experience. I'll hope to try to release it within a couple days. When you look at World of Warcraft as a new player, first of all, when you see that there's 30 buttons on the screen, you are already overwhelmed. Then if you so happen to watch someone who has add-ons, or you're told, oh yeah, you want to play World of Warcraft, okay, you can get to level 80 in like a month or less. It's way less than that in retail, but just so you know, you need to download Curse Forge to start getting add-ons. That is an immediate turnoff for a lot of people, right? And add-ons are there, to my understanding. We had a very long conversation in chat. For example, you don't have to read the books in the dungeons. They're just telling you what to do. So it's like kind of dumbing down the encounter in a way for you, right? And so I'm not too necessarily mad about this, but customization to my UI, I get Blizzard added their own, but it won't be the same. And to be frank, seeing some examples of what's available right now, I'm a bit concerned. I don't even mean options of what to track, but overall readability, size, audio cues, different fonts, colors, and anything in between. This is deeply disappointing, and I'm hoping it's clickbait and they're just rebranding. Well, it doesn't seem to be clickbait. Blizzard seems to really be sticking to their guns on this, where they just don't want add-ons and weak auras to be around. And obviously, this is an extreme example of a customizable UI. But this is cool though. Certainly a more dramatic example, but I remade the Wildstar UI in Weakauras. I'm hoping that another add-on will be able to take the mantle of Weakauras leaving behind. But like this is just cool. Like this is just cool, right? Obviously, I don't really think there's anything wrong with customization and, like, trying to set up the UI yourself, especially when, look, it is a already such a confusing game for the new players. Like, there is a level of barrier of entry just visually by seeing what's happening. So this is very weird. And also, we're going to go over the fact that, well, there is a negative for people that are disabled. This was another post about Weakauras. As a leader of Undaunted, the Deaf Guild, I'm so fucking frustrated with these changes. We utilize custom Weakauras to help bridge the communication gap, such as enlarging the raid warning when it detects certain keywords. Blizzard's stated intention is to move towards communication being the primary method of solving raid mechanics, but they've simultaneously destroyed everything we deaf players use to communicate. And no, we can't rely on them to fill the gap they have created because the community add-on authors have been filling the gaps for years. Add-ons like Rayleigh's Spell Announcer were specifically created for disabled players. Blizzard's staff of able-bodied developers are never going to nail accessibility like the customizable UI would. World of Warcraft is one of the most disability-accessible games ever, made specifically because of the moddable UI. They've utterly destroyed that with these changes. And listen, man, I'm going to be honest with you. You might say this is not a big deal. Like, I'm not deaf. I'm not, visually impaired or whatnot. But, there are people that are clearly going to be struggling from this. And again, add-ons to make combat easier, I'm not, like, mad about at all. I'm really not. However, stripping away all the customization, and then after that, kind of leaving it super bare bones. Um, I don't know, man. I feel like there should be, as Bellula says right here, there should be like some sort of middle ground. You know what I mean? Just some sort of middle ground. As I said, it seems like Blizzard. Oh, it's my starting stream for that's my starting stream screen. It seems like Blizzard is trying to do this thing where they're removing the add-ons so that way you don't rely on the add-ons to provide you benefits via combat, and then you have to focus more and learn the raid mechanics and communicate with your group, but at the same time lower the kind of really dumb down the classes a little bit in a way where to play your class is the barrier to entry is not there. They want the barrier to entry to be on the raid mechanics themselves and how they work and how you communicate. So it's very interesting to see this happen. I mean, obviously it's unfortunate, Weakauras is going away, right, as a whole. Again, very, very mixed reaction. It's going to be interesting. I'm from the time of WoW where you track counterspell with the in-game timer. Let's play. Rip, one of the best community-made add-ons in history. We went over this already. It was a fun journey. End of an era. So it's interesting, man. It's interesting to see what's happening. But at the end of the day, I mean, we'll have to see how it goes. Finally, WoW saved. Yo, bro, some of the people are really crazy. I ain't gonna lie. I've seen some weird elitist comments on the internet, but it is what it is. So we'll have to see how this works. But I do think like having an add-on for like customization, like if you are visually impaired, if you are deaf, or special sound effects, visually being able to make things bigger. I mean, again, maybe they'll add that to the alpha and we'll see how it works, but I doubt that Blizzard is going to be able to replicate the customization that, let's say, Weakauras was able to. Or even if they will or can, it won't be for the launch of Midnight, right? So yeah, very interesting stuff. Let me know what you think, man. I personally think they should be focusing on the new player experience. I think dumbing down the classes personally I'm chill with it because it's a little bit less for me to learn because I'm overwhelmed. I'm very, very overwhelmed. However, I think they don't do a good job teaching the players, and you don't feel any type of adversity in the story. So I think that's really the biggest thing is kind of getting that new player experience on lock. But with that being said, I love you. I'll see you in the next one. Mwah.